Today is Brain Injury Awareness Day on Capitol Hill. In the past, my partner Shauna DeCaro and I have traveled to Washington, D.C. for many years, along with many others, to visit with our congressional representatives and participate in events emphasizing the need for increased funding on the national level for brain injury awareness, brain injury research, brain injury treatment, and brain injury education. Brain Injury Awareness Day is an event sponsored each year by the Bipartisan Congressional Brain Injury Task Force and the Brain Injury Association of America. The Congressional Brain Injury Task Force was founded by Representative Bill Pascrell of New Jersey in 2001, and now is co-chaired by Congressman Pascrell and Congressman Don Bacon of Nebraska. The task force works to increase awareness of brain injury, support research initiatives for rehabilitation and potential cures, and it strives to address the effects such injuries have on families, children, education, and in the workforce. The task force now includes over 80 members of Congress, both Democrats and Republicans, from all over the nation. Brain injury is not a Democratic or Republican issue. It is not a rural issue or a suburban issue. It is a public health issue that affects over 5.3 million Americans living with long-term disability and causes over 2.5 million Americans each year to seek medical care. So I ask you, 80 members? That's all? The task force needs to grow, and its voice needs to be heard in Washington and throughout our nation. If your congressional representative is a member of this task force, you should thank them. But if your representative is not a member of this task force, then it's important that you reach out and ask them to join their colleagues on this important issue. Although this year brain injury awareness will be held remotely, the message is still loud and clear. Brain injury awareness, research, treatment, and education needs more funding on both the state and federal level. The brain fog and degenerative neurological conditions that more and more Americans are facing, including those faced through the COVID-19 virus, the debilitating brain damage caused by accidents, the brain damage caused by strokes or intimate partner violence, other forms of assaults, and brain injuries to our military personnel makes brain injury a national priority. A concussion is often referred to as a mild traumatic brain injury, but a concussion or a mild traumatic brain injury is anything but mild. There is nothing mild about a mild brain injury. The consequences of this injury can last a lifetime and can affect every aspect of an individual's life. And in cases of catastrophic traumatic brain injury, it's wonderful to save a life, but society then has an obligation and a responsibility for that person for the remainder of their life. Brain injury is an issue that must be properly addressed by our medical insurers. Care must be provided and claims must be approved for brain injury treatment, brain injury rehabilitation, and the long-term chronic health conditions that develop. Brain injury can't be treated as a simple event or as if it was a broken bone. It affects every aspect of an individual's life with no clear paths for recovery. Each brain injury is unique, each brain injury is different, and each brain injury and its repercussions must be evaluated on an individual basis. We need to focus our attention on housing, transportation, reasonable accommodations, education, research, and of course, rehabilitation. Brain injury is not genetic. Brain injury is not contagious. In fact, most brain injury is preventable. But unfortunately, the tragic consequences of brain injury The emotional, cognitive, behavioral, and physical problems will last or can last a lifetime. I want to take this moment to thank the Brain Injury Association of America and our representatives on the Congressional Brain Injury Task Force for all of their work to date and for all they have done to improve the lives of the millions of Americans living with a traumatic brain injury. Now more than ever, though, more work still needs to be done. Thanks for listening today, and I look forward to speaking with you again tomorrow on another edition of the Brain Injury Insider.